I'm from Southwest Virginia. I was born in 1930. We had a very small hospital. I think it was 10 beds in my small town of Virginia, 600 population. And people went for things like tonsillectomies, which I had, and would go with pneumonia. My grandfather died at 98, correction, my great-grandfather died at 98 of pneumonia in the hospital. When I was living there, I paid very little attention to medical delivery, except when I was personally sick, and my family took care of having everything I needed in the way of care, from having a skinned head to falling out of a tree to having pneumonia. I knew nothing about how difficult it might be for people living in more rural areas, or how much easier it might be for people living in large towns and cities. I never knew anything about health insurance through most of my childhood and young adult life. I was going to medical school. Most of the patients that we saw were actually either not insured at all or had very little. I've been at the Free Health Clinic now since February of 2006.
We have an incredibly diverse community here, from high school or college students all the way through to retirees who volunteer and are our patients. And our patients are all uninsured folks, but they can range from part-time professors to homeless folks with no education, and everybody in between. I do not have health insurance. I absolutely considered health insurance a luxury when I had it. My primary care office is Ithaca Free Clinic. Well, my hope for the future of healthcare is a much more integrated, consistent society-wide system that allows people access to health services regardless of their personal means.
And the impression I get is that even though the care in other countries is handled in most instances by the state, and in most instances seems to be adequate, it is not likely that this is ever going to happen here because of the fear in Washington and in the state capitals that we will have socialism. I think that healthcare is a right, not a privilege.
I've been seeing a lot of confusion from people. I've been following the law in depth since it first was proposed on the House floor in Congress, and I still get confused by all of it. So it's going to do some good for some people, probably do some good for a lot of people, but there's a lot of people that are going to be left behind.
The most terrible problem with healthcare in America is the disparity between those insured or well off who can afford anything they want, whether they need it or not, and those with life-threatening situations who cannot afford to get even the most basic care.